everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Women's Maximum Fitness Podcast. I'm super excited to have Karina Nascimento, IFBB Women's Physique Pro from Brazil, living in Florida, here with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing, and thank you for having me. I haven't done one of these in a while. I just tried to, I don't know if I try to avoid them. These days, I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm really excited when you asked me. I felt the energy was the right time.
Yeah, I was so flattered that you were like, I don't normally do this, but I'm feeling like this is a good idea. And I thought, perfect.
I did.
Yeah.
That's how I live today.
Yeah. You have to invite in the good energy. That's how you make your best life, isn't it?
Yes, and I've done a lot of amazing spiritual work, and so I'm led by that. So it's an incredible journey at this point for me.
So tell us a little bit about that. What is this spiritual work that you have been doing?
Well, as you know, and most people know, that we all yearn for something more, right? So we're always asking for more, and subconsciously, consciously, we just don't know what exactly it is. For me, I didn't know why it was so hard to live, because I felt like I wanted to always do the right thing, but what is exactly is the right thing? Because if I'm led by my conscious, my desire, that's not gonna lead me far. But if I'm led by the spirit that leads me, my intuition, really listen to it. It's like, don't do that. Okay, that's not good, right? But to be able to do that, to actually stop yourself, actually think through, your mind has to be calm. And you have to be at a place where the breathing can go from the top of your head down out to your toes, back up to and leave. And if you can do that, blocked by so many layers of things that happen throughout the life, that it becomes unbearable. And that's how I felt. And so I had to once and for all cut this cord so that I can give my children the life that I never have, not only financially, but a life of free, like, comfortability and security.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that has a lot to do with maturing and, like you said, recognizing that something's not working for you in your life. And there's a trickle down effect as a parent, that with, how you present yourself and how you are doing is absolutely reflected on your children. A friend of mine told me one time, your children are mirrors of you. And, so we want to have a good presentation for them so that they are a good mirror. So that's so cool. I love that. So you have a lot of peace now, it sounds like.
I do. And all started with bodybuilding, because it takes discipline, right? It takes a lot of discipline to be able to like when you say, like my first coach, right, Herman Steele, he passed away 2013 at a show of a heart attack, watching his girlfriend on stage. I had just spoken to him. Do you know how shocking that was to me? I was just devastated. Like, he was like my mentor, my coach. When I started out on this, I lived in a children's home in Texas, which it's now my charity. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but quarterly I take care of them. I said this when I was going up my third floor apartment, because that's all I could afford. I had groceries, all the way up. And I said, because of that place, I am heading in the right direction, right? So I said, one day when I have the opportunity, I am going to be able, I want to be giving them back, right? So years later, I come back with my children and we gave presents, right, for Christmas. And now we live in Florida. We do quarterly for them. Or when they need something, they ask us to support a child for summer and stuff, we do it.
That's incredible. Okay, so let's go back a little bit and talk about your history and your childhood. And I usually ask people what kind of athletic background they have and how they got into bodybuilding, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about your personal story and not just the athleticism, but what was it like growing up? I know, you were probably in Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, for me, it was not a great experience. I was abused a lot, neglected. And it was, and then this is in Brazil. And then when I found my mom, she was giving me up for adoption. And then I found her. She was already in the United States. I have one brother, and he was with my grandparents. And long story short, when I came to United States with her to Fort Texas, she was not in a good place, right? So she had mental illness issues, not that she ever was aware of it, but, and so she was abusive. So I was taken out of my home, put it in the children's home by the state. And I was broken. Let me just tell you, I just felt like, why me, like the poor me. And I always felt that way. Why me? Why this? Why that? I didn't feel smart. I didn't feel like, I played volleyball. I was great in track, but I didn't have the support. So I didn't have the support. Like if I was doing good, she wanted me to not do it, right? See, and so God bless her soul. But it took me a long time to work through. So I went to therapy, and and I had the medication, and I had, and then finally I was in, when I left the children's home at 17, my daughter's 17 years old now. And I was in the streets, and I was like living here and there, and, and my life started to unravel, right? Hanging out with the wrong people. And they're not, it's not like they were the wrong people. They were just people. They partied, everybody did the same. And I'm this young girl coming in, having all these disposition, these emotions, these fears, these anxieties, this unstable inside, real broken. And but I remember that when I was doing a work experience at YMCA, I was attached to this one little boy that come visit his mom for the summer. And when I saw that woman, I thought, wow, she was a bodybuilder and she had these legs. I mean, and I was just like, I got chills. I said, I want that. Like, I want that. Like, I want to look like that, And then that woman had a gym, and a big gym. And she says, you can come and train here anytime, And then her son's name was Jonathan. It was out in Keller, Texas. And my house mom at the time, right before I left, she would take me in the van, park outside, wait for me, and I would work out. They had no idea what I did. And then I saw Corey Everson on the poster, and I thought, you can look like that beautiful and have those muscles. I want that so bad. And from there, at 16, started working out. And so every time that I was started to like feel bad or head in the wrong direction, I had this bodybuilding thing that would be a direction for me to stay focused. right? I always had this to follow. I mean, I always felt like the gym is my home. The weight makes me feel like I'm stronger.
Yeah. It's making me tear up. It's such a beautiful story. I just love it.
In a nutshell.
Right? Here's the thing. I think that people think if they change their body, they're going to change their life, because everybody wants to have this perfect body. And they don't realize that you can change your physique and not change the inside at all if you're not aware of, you know, the discipline and everything that goes into it, and you really choose to try to change the inside. And what I love about bodybuilding is so many of us have come from places of being broken, and it didn't heal our, you know, changing the outside doesn't fix us, but it allows us to bide that time while we're learning how to heal and fix the inside and everything that's happened. So it's just,
And also what I have learned is that now, when I had my children, when I had my daughter, then I felt this yearning for love that I had to discipline myself to give, you know? And I was like, how am I, why, what is going on here? And so I deep into the depression and digging myself off a hole. And then I went into doing some spiritual work. Then again, then I was really good, move, you know, because I started bodybuilding with my coach in 1995.
okay.
I was a bodybuilder, and I won with him. You know, he was so structured. Like he called me in the morning, he called me at night. He was so like, he loved my physique. He can see the creation coming, and he said to me, I wanted to be more of a fitness, but I didn't have dance background. It gave me a lot of anxieties after, you know, going for the work, you know, like the flow work and everything. And there was no figure at the time, and there was no bikini at the time. And I don't think there was figure yet. It was about to come.
Yeah.
And so I said, I want to be a bodybuilder. So he put that statue that I have up there. That's the only statue that I have, like that I got, that he put it down. He goes, you want to look like this? And I said, yes. He goes, you know that you're going to be judged by other people, because this is not a look that I've had. I said, but I want that. Then. And so we started on that journey. I had no money, and he trained me for free, and he mentored me for free. He said I was going to be one of the greatest. One day I was going to be Miss Olympia. And I believed them. And I had no idea what I was getting into, but I was just like, what? Can I have sugar? I was so depressed. I was so upset. I was crying when he told me I could have sugar. So he walked with me down to the 7-Eleven, gave me Reese's Pieces. And then he says, he goes, now for the next 8 weeks, we're going to work. I said, okay. So
Wait, I have two questions. One, I was wondering how old were you when you went up for adoption? And then, so a little bit of an age timeline. How old were you when you were put up for adoption?
6 months. 6
months. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you when you first started? Was it in 1995? Is that when you first started competing, or is that when you first started training for bodybuilding?
I started training for bodybuilding. So my first show was the Ronnie Coleman Classic in 1999.
Okay. Oh, wow. 4 years you put in before you even stepped on stage.
Pretty much. But I won that show.
Yeah.
I was 125 and a half. And I did the lightweight bodybuilding.
Okay. Nice.
So I won that. And then I even met Monica Brett back there. She goes, "Oh my God, your stage presence is just so amazing. You really should go, train in Venice." She goes, "Photographers is always out there." And I never made it out there. I didn't make it until like the years down the line. But I had no idea what she was talking about because, I didn't even have a website. We don't even see people. It's like pictures here and there. It's a lot different then.
Yeah.
Then I went to, and I won the Ronnie Coleman Classic. Then I trained another year. I went to, my coach really wanted me to win the Iron Games, which is the Excalibur over in California.
Yes.
And I brought home the sword, won that overall. And that's when I met, John Lindsay and all them. And then we trained again for a year, and I went to Oklahoma, and I won Stillwater, Oklahoma, and I won that overall. And then we went, and then I was invited to go to compete for the women's physique world and the women extravaganza in New York.
Okay.
And I won that overall.
Wait.
And then
what year was that? What year was that?
I think it was around 2002, because 2003, 2002, because I went to Brazil. I won all 4 shows, and that's how you had to get your pro cards. Now, I hadn't been to Brazil and did not care to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was so determined that God gave me this. I knew it, that that's what I needed to do. I traveled over there by myself. I had a few people sponsoring me, and I spoke at a college. They were so proud that I was, going to represent Brazil. And as soon as I get home, I was invited to compete at the Arnold Classic.
Wow.
And I was freaking out. I was like, the Arnold Classic, about died when I got out in that stage. This girl with all these women that I was like, wow. But, they're the best. I feel like even I was talking to Women's Physique Olympia, Giuliani, when I posted this picture, she goes, "I was there."
Yeah. So did you know her at all? I mean, I know that sounds dumb, I think, but
I did not know her until we met at the New York Pro, and I met her the night before the show. We did RX Muscle together.
What year was that? Do you know what year that was?
Could be 2013. My mom passed away 2013.
Okay, well, and that's when I met you, because I remember we were standing there. We watched her walk onto stage, and we were just like, "Oh, the glute muscles!"
Yeah,
like, and then she didn't. They marked her down because she was too big, right? Was that when that was for women's physique, right?
Yeah, but she won. She won, and I got second. We had like 23 girls on that. And the girl, yeah, it was a bunch of girls in that show. Yeah, and it was like, oh, and then they started the whole thing. I didn't expect the Karina and Giuliani and that, it was just, I'm like, I'm not into all that, you know what I mean? I'm like, I just want to and then it manifests into something worse inside of you, and this competition thing.
Yeah. I was mistaken. I was thinking that I met you in 2012. So you didn't compete in 2012 at the New York Pro, but I did meet you there, I believe, in 2012. So it was the next year. And that year, I think Juliana got like 4th or something. And then she had to come back.
No, that was the Olympia. No,
What?
When she showed up at the New York Pro, she won and I got second.
Okay.
So when we got to the Olympia, the first Olympia, she and I got marked for being too big.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it was like 8, like we were like 7, 8.
Oh my goodness.
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah. To go
I was
from
like,
winning. Yeah. That is
yeah.
crazy.
But but she came back and she won a bunch, and I in my body just, I started trying to manipulate. I didn't have the right coaching, and and like when I say the ups and downs of bodybuilding, um, it's how I felt inside with the emotions of I wanted to be Miss Olympia, and I knew that I had the potential. I just you know to do something like that, you have to have the right people behind you, and I didn't have that.
So a lot of this, I think, was a lesson of you figuring out your circle. And, I think it's so true. That's what everybody needs, to have a healthy environment with healthy relationships and people that are supporting you, in your passions and everything.
Yeah, but you know what? Everything that happened, every single moment, there has been many tears and a lot of hard work and all these things. But every lesson, right? So every lesson, I used to think this is, obviously because I wasn't able to process things as well, right? So yeah, I'm thinking I'm fine, I'm great, I'm da, you know what I mean? Inside though, it's not the truth, right? So you want the world to think that you're just you got this, right? You got the balance with the family and the stuff. And I started to see my children, like I'll be doing cardio in the morning, they're walking to go to school, and when they come home, I'm doing cardio at night. I'm like, and it's like it was constantly like overwhelming. And so on 2015 at the Olympia, I just had a breakdown. I didn't have the right coaching. I was just not in a good place. The anxiety, my upper ribs kept popping out. Cortisol level was just out the roof. I feel like it was my best stage pictures, but not for the judges. So I decided, you know what? I don't know if it was my decision, but it was a decision that was made like from my heart. You know what I mean? I just thought it's time for a change. Now, what am I going to do with that change?
Right.
That was the hardest thing, to separate myself from their thinking.
Yeah. Do you think that you kind of plowed through bodybuilding using it as kind of a band-aid for all the stuff that was going on inside of you?
Yes. And I'm grateful. Listen, I'm grateful for it. Yeah. Otherwise, I had nothing else.
Right.
I had nothing else. So I'm trying to, because you don't know, if I knew what I know today, it will make such a huge difference, but that's not how it works, right? That's how we can teach each other, right? And so when that Band-Aid came off, I was busting at the seams, right? My therapist says, it's like a balloon or like your trash can, right? You're trying to stuff things and it's like coming out of this way, and that way, And when people say anxieties, right? Anxieties is when you can't breathe because you're blocked.
Yeah.
You block, right? And so these emotions, subconsciously, you're going that way. Consciously, you're trying to go this way. You have to merge.
Yeah.
You have to merge and work from the gut up.
Yeah. And in the meantime, you're I think all like you're in this survival mode, so your
Yes.
decisions are very reactionary. And I think this goes to what you said too about when you have this calm, you can make better choices, you can think, and it's you like, so do you look back and say, I was really successful, but who is that person? Like, do you think about that person who was just,
How did she do it? Yeah. How did she do it? Because I would go to do healing work, right? I spent a lot of time in Sedona. After my coach died, I just could not. And I did through the New York Pro, I didn't process my mom passing. It was very quick. She had cancer, 6 months, she was gone. I was still on my diet. And her and I had a lot of history. I forgave her, but didn't mean that it was out of my system.
yeah,
So I started to go to Sedona one day. I started going, and my husband, I said to him, I said, I'm not living right. I'm like, I want to die. And how can but I want to live. I don't want to leave this, but I don't know how else. My thinking, it was constantly, I would go back to, I want to die. So wherever happens, I should have just been dead. Why not? Right? That was because it was for so many years in my life, I was thinking, tried it when I was 13, like took a bunch of pills, whatever, stuff. Just didn't know how to cope, right? So when I started to go to Sedona, I started doing this, it's called Sedona Soul Adventures. I started to do all these healings. I started to feel one of the biggest things was forgiveness. Forgiveness. My mom gave me up for adoption, not having security, not having love, just feeling like, why am I here? Why did you do this to me? Like God, right? And then I had my God thing was all messed up too, because I was like, you know what I mean? After living in so many different homes, and abuse home with Christianity and abuse home with Christianity of another thing, because when you live all over the place, it's kind of hard to say, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not Christ-like.
right.
If you talk Christ in church, but this is how you act at home, this don't make sense. So my God was not, it was disappearing, and I was feeling like, so I had to find my own way. And I found that through being in Arizona, which it was beyond something that I would done, because it was supposed to be so Christian. God, and I'm like, I'm going to follow this intuition that is giving me, because I need freedom. Yeah. And I'm not saying like this Band-Aid shit. I want freedom. I said, I know it's possible. It's going to take a long time. And I was doing that and doing bodybuilding thing. Well, finally, I had, I couldn't do it no more, any of it. And, it asked me to delete my social media. It asked me to disconnect from the world completely. It asked me to do it, and I pondered on that, because that's the world I knew. Now I'm going to step into a world that is unknown. And what are people going to think? Now I can, who cares?
Right.
Because you know what? In the end of the day, I felt like when I would go to the show, have my own shows, everybody goes home. Yeah. And I was sick. Everybody goes home to their families, and I come home and I'm still separated. Yeah. When I'm alone, I can close my eyes and feel at peace. Right. And my husband said to me, he goes, I just want you happy. Yeah. Came back from Vegas 2017. I was curled up in a ball, like in my bed, and I couldn't get up anymore. My neck, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. And he's like, did something happen to you? What is going on? My kids are playing. I can't, it was the end of the line. Either I had to get up and kill myself, or I had to get up and make that change. And that's the honest truth. You can ask anyone that is close to my husband, my children, and I shut it down. I said, that's it. And that's where you're like, I didn't want to I changed my number, deleted social media because I didn't want to go, but why? I mean, you're the greatest, or why not? Because what's going on? It was not, it was a spiritual work. It was all about my family and reprogramming my mind. Okay, reprogramming my mind. I was living upside down, right? Bodybuilding, bodybuilding, partying, being the greatest, me, and then family, right? Because I was traveling. So I needed to put, spirituality, my family, and then what else comes? I have no attachment to anything. Let me tell you, when I say 3 years of hard work, and there are times when I go into meditation, I'll be like, I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to get through this. I'm good. I have a guest room over there. I will lock myself in there because I'll feel safe. Nobody was going to come in. Nobody was going to, and I'll just get myself in there. I had books. I went to Sedona again. I was just like, and I was like, working and working. Yeah. And then one day I was free. One day I was driving home, and down here on 5th Street, and from my third eye, I saw this amazing tunnel. Like it was just like I can see bright, the light, everything inside of me felt like there's nothing. I can breathe. I've been breathing for the last 2 years freely. But to do that, who's going to do that?
You stated perfectly how you have control over your life, regardless of what your past looks like. But you have to put the work in, and you have to make the effort to make the change. And you put years in solitude, without those types of distractions. I think that's
none. The crazy thing is that, I had a beautiful G-Wagon. My car smashed, totaled it, right?
Okay.
So here I am driving this piece of shit car, right? I felt like I was back into like the no money days and stuff. My husband, and I said, no, I'm driving this car. Mm-hmm. Because this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
We need to go back I need to feel, I need to be humble and feel it. I need to be scared and be angry and be happy and stuff. The best thing that I can tell you that happened out of all this is that my 17-year-old daughter and my relationship with her has blossomed. My son went to military school for 2 years. That was one of the things it came to me. And my daughter went to boarding school in Texas. That's where we're from, for 2 years. We didn't know how long, but we knew that they needed to go. My 12-year-old stayed, and I kept working on me, and they had to go work on them. I work in my relationship with my husband, right? Just me and him. And guess what? Our relationship today I have never, all I wanted is to break that cycle, that vicious cycle that, not the gym doesn't control me, drugs doesn't control me, alcohol doesn't control me, people or fame doesn't control me, my money or my stuff, nothing. I mean, when I tell you, it's incredible. Yeah. It just is, but I put in the work. I went to a spiritual prep instead, a bodybuilding competition this time. But I love bodybuilding. It gave me my life. That's how I met my husband, and that's how I get to do the things we get to do is because of bodybuilding. Yeah. I love it so much.
Yeah. Still it probably gave you a lot of those tools to be brave enough to conquer all these demons that you had from your past. So you find a lot of strength in there, even just being physically getting stronger does make you mentally stronger and open up this whole world of, oh, I can do anything,
The manifestation, I think, and it happens, I got to stop thinking about things because it comes up, girl. And so, and guess what? When you're looking for freedom, when you're looking for peace, when you're looking for all these things, like I always say, it's not going to come wrapped in a little box. It's not going to look like anything you ever imagine. It may be like you have 100,000 plus followers that you become close to. You may have to delete that. Yeah. Who wants to do that? I feel like some people, because you see mental health is a huge thing. It was taboo for a long time. If you live with someone for 2-3 days in their home, you'll be like, wow, I didn't know they were like that. I didn't know that shit happened here. Oh my God, I mean, you can say whatever, you can post whatever. I'm just honest these days about I don't post if I don't feel like talking. It's not about that. It's because I am in meditation. I am I'm working. Right. It's not about, I don't go like, oh, I gotta get up, I gotta go, post you it. No, it's not like that. And there are days that I just don't have anything to say.
Yeah. And the woman that doesn't allow the world to control her, when you can walk into a room and say, I don't need anything or anyone or anybody's approval, unstoppable.
That's my last Olympia. I was over there a couple weeks ago. I was like, this is the life. God.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. Very cool.
Very light, and stuff. So
it's amazing. It's really awesome how the more I do, well, two things. One, I want to say that I think it's really important for women in the up and coming women, especially in the industry, to see these interviews with people who have gone where they're hoping to go, because you need to know what life looks like after bodybuilding. And so many of the women that I have talked to have tragic, traumatic pasts, and bodybuilding has led them through that, given them the tools, and probably some of them are still going to have to go through what you went through. But right now, it's helping them, equip them to get the tools to get there. And it's so
your journey is your journey, but always know that there is an answer. There is salvation, right? This thing, salvation, right? You will be able to live beyond bodybuilding. I just spoke with someone that is heading to Sedona.
Okay.
and bodybuilder. That's heading to Sedona. I have sent so many women out there,
Yeah.
and you go, wow, it's not once you're in that place of change, and like diets, right? So my first coach, I used to say, oh my God, because I didn't like gaining weight. I was always so skinny, and I had to like for a year just gain. And he had me like eat in the middle of the night, like, it was just, I mean, girl, the things that he had me do. It was like old school bodybuilding, eat egg protein. I would like throw up and then he'll make it again and give it to me. I was like, this sucks. I'm like, what am I doing? I have no idea, man. And then just peas and carrots. I don't like vegetables, and peas and carrots and tuna. And it was just like, but one time I'm like so upset and because I was like in my abs, and he's like, give me 6 weeks. Just give me 6 weeks. Do what I say for 6 weeks. This is my first show that I'm running. And he goes, and then you will see the change, right? So, and when I saw that, that has been my motto for ever since, because I know the change will come, right? As long as you work. And so I'm about results, right? So if I put myself in, and now it's like, if you tell me, give me, this is gonna work. If I see the results, I'm gonna stay with you and we're gonna work through it. I'm not gonna stay forever, because I'm not the kind of girl that I like to get it done and let's move on to something else. You know what I mean? I'm not like, I won't be in the industry like, doing shows for years to come, because it's just not my thing. I don't work that way. It probably has to do with moving around so much, not being, my husband is the only man that I have spent 18 years with, been married 16 years. He's the only person I have in my life for this long. The other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my kids, they're my world. They're so beautiful. And you have no idea, when I am in my house, I clean my own house. I try to do the maid thing, but they can do it. So that,
Oh, it's great. Um, we had some, I don't know when you get a phone call, how you go back to a Zoom meeting. So it stopped. Now we started up again. But it's no worries. I wanted to ask you about, you were talking a little bit about that you're cleaning your house now and you're doing like all the things.
yes. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I started also like cleaning my own house. Got rid of the nanny at the time, so that it would just be us, and then so I can connect, right? Doing the laundry, folding their stuff. They become they become they become my connection, right? So I was the house was clean, and I'm walking up the stairs, and I look around at this beautiful home, and I go, wow, this is unbelievable. This little girl in Brazil, not safe, being abused, being molested, being shafted from here. And no matter what, I always tried to be a good person. And I always tried to give back, because I didn't try to steal or try to, wish ill on people, even when I'm being hurt, because inside of me, I knew that the key to success is to allowing whoever it is, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, pray for them. This is gonna be okay. You know, this is not, I don't want this type of journey. I want the next level, you know? So when you were just like, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, I mean, I have this amazing guy that loves me to the core, that wants to take care of me, that his main focus is me, the kids, and the opportunity that he gives us, right? So if this guy that is super smart, super intelligent, is a big time businessman, well respected, loves me, then yeah, like, wow, that I'm worth it, you know? The people that doesn't like me is because they don't know me.
Right.
They didn't, you know, to just see me in pictures, and yes, I'm capable of doing a lot of things, more than you even know, but that's not who I am,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. So you connected and really focused on connecting with the people that care about you. And we're trying to build those relationships. I mean, I love that, even like, yeah, folding the laundry and taking care of your home. These are all loving things that are going to connect a family and feel like love and safety and, you know, everything that makes a family thrive. I think that's just, yeah, just you can put those pieces together is huge.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to actually say that there is life after trauma. There's life and freedom after anything that you have put on against. You know what I mean? You know, it just, I suffer a lot. I suffer a lot, and so now, you know, my daughter, she's 17, and we have the same type of mind, right? Except she has a safe, and you think, is what people did to me? No, you know, another thing is that everybody has their own journey, and they're struggling, right, to be themselves. My mother never tried to get mental health, right? That didn't exist. So she drank herself to death and smoked cigarettes until, you know, whatever, you know. And my daughter now, you know, she used to be also depressed or so upset. And so, you know, we have those nerve systems that is not wired correctly, that we have the same. And so whether somebody does anything mean to you or not, the struggle is real, still inside. That just makes that pain or that disposition alarming, more bigger, right? We're just but I told her, I said, you have nothing to worry about, because we're paving the road for you. All I want you to do is to feel confident. If you need help, we got you. I mean, there is nothing that you won't be able to conquer without me. Yeah. I ain't gonna go anywhere. And girl, you're going to rise. And after she went to boarding school, girl, this woman is a different woman. Yeah. Because guess what? She also went to a place where it's a, you know, prep school. Everybody is thinking the same level. They want to go to college. They want to be somebody. They're there 24/7 doing, and the same thing I needed to do. I needed to be at home, back and forth, doing my thing, taking kids to school, blah, blah, blah. So you becomes a habit, right? Yeah. When I get up in the morning, it's God, family, and gym.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's hard, I think, as probably, you know, somebody who's gone through traumatic stuff, to not worry that, you know, just to remember that our journey is not our daughter's journey. You know what I mean? And like you said, they don't have all this, you know, I know that, you know, she probably senses some of that from what you've experienced, but
Yeah.
it's not her experience. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
sometimes I think we worry about them because of the things that have happened to us when, you know, it's like they don't have, my therapist once said, it's like we have this backpack full of rocks, you know, and these are our experiences, but our children don't have backpacks full of rocks. So they're walking a different journey than us. I think it's,
Hopefully,
yeah,
right? That's that's my main goal
yeah,
is and I think it's working out.
yeah.
My son it came back from military school yesterday. I was in a car with him and we went to chiropractor. He has an opportunity to be the quarterback today for a big school, and he's only in the 9th grade and in a varsity team. And he said to me, Mom, said, Mommy, I really am glad that I went to military school. It taught me a lot. Because
Yeah.
why couldn't I behave? I don't understand why I couldn't behave in class. And he's a student and everything, very smart. And I said, you know, same thing with my daughter. She goes, I didn't want to go. And I said, but that was a intuition from a spiritual realm part of me that came to me that says, let's all work. Let's all get this thing, you know, so that everybody can. Now, my family is like, we look at it, all of it as like all the learning experience, all the growth. Yeah. And you know what? Sending your kids to boarding school is not an easy task. It's not easy. Not everybody can do it because it was not because it's because we live so privileged and every kid is doing every other things, you know, and they're young and stuff. And I said, you know, you got to put life, your expectation of yourself, your respect, what you want to be, you know, how you want to be. I said, you guys are champions. You know, and my daughter already been a champion runner. She's a great writer. She writes songs. I'm having actually a famous producer. I'm gonna put him up here, and he's gonna work for 3 days with her in her dream. I said, you get to skip all the small stuff. Okay, if you're that good,
Yeah.
whatever. But I am giving you this opportunity, and I will give you more. And that's what we do, right? That's what we're here. That's what we do. That's how I climb. But if I had given up, if I hadn't worked, even if I hadn't shut it down, if I hadn't, none of this would happen, and everything would have been fall apart, you know?
Yeah. I think that's what discipline does. It sets you up to be available for opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's a huge thing, especially with parenting. I mean, kids need discipline, they need structure. That's love to them. I say this all the time, that discipline is love, because you have to have boundaries in order to grow. You do. So
Mhm.
very,
Everybody's doing great. I'm so grateful. You look beautiful.
thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
so glad.
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing good too. I think very similar to you. It's been like I love the sport and definitely didn't get as involved in it as you did, but figuring out what part bodybuilding has played in my life and where I want to be now, I mean, because people, they probably ask you all the time too, are you going to compete again? I don't know. Do you think about like, doing wellness, or you just know you're not going to do, you're just done? Yeah. And I think that's okay. Like, I think people really need to understand that.
No, next month, I'll be 49.
Crazy.
I'll be 49. And my body is in a good place. I just yesterday was 2 weeks. I got my breasts redone because one of them was encapsulated for a long time, and I just didn't want to go into surgery. So I finally said, you know what? I don't know. In 2 years, I'll be 50. So in 1 more year, I'll be 50. So I'll be like, no, I want to walk through 50 like, hello. I ain't gonna worry about anything. I'm just gonna so I got that done. And you know, I do a lot of meditation, a lot of, you know, I do whatever my God is right here. It's like I'm constantly talking and feeling, and I have this real amazing sensitive to this universe. I'm so connected. I feel like, you know, and I'm helping, you know, women with that.
Yeah. I think you're
No,
gonna.
I'm not gonna compete.
Yeah, and I think it's, like I said, it's really important for people to understand what bodybuilding does for the individual and at what point you need to get out of that competing life. But you were doing it a long time, you know,
Yeah.
since 2002. Is that what you said? Like since
So 99.
Yeah.
And then I had and then I competed at the Arnold, placed third in the world that year in 03, met my husband. And we started to, you know, and then I was like, I don't want to really do bodybuilding anymore, you know. I just, you know, and then it was not until after I moved to Florida that I started to train. I had the baby.
Yeah.
She was like 3 months, and I started to train with Charles at the gym here, and just so I can get back on track and stuff, you know. And he says, your body just keeps changing so fast, and you should do this women's physique. I'm like, I'm not doing no women. I'm not competing. And he's like, Karina, for real, like you should.
Yeah.
And he convinced me to do it. And I said, if I'm doing it, I'm doing the first show ever.
Yeah.
And so he goes, that's in 6 months. And I said, well, then let's go to work. And let me tell you, I did that show just eating fat burners and dieting. I just, you know, because I had so much muscle, we just needed to work and stuff. Yes, I was not a Giuliani Malacani, but I won that show.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was like, it's like, I wish that, you know, I would have slowed down a little bit, but it is what it is.
Yeah. That's so great. That's so awesome.
But it was great. And I've done so many great things, and I'm always grateful. I'll always be the first ever women's physique champion.
Yeah.
And then after that, I have, you know, a few more championships, and I just love it. I loved it when I was on stage. I love doing all that. Yeah. And I was watching the wellness. It's my favorite. It's my absolutely favorite. I love it. I'm training like I'm a wellness girl.
Yeah.
But I don't want it, that whole extreme of it. I don't even know. I just train. And so I haven't really trained in the last couple of weeks, obviously. I just starting back a little bit with bands, you know. Yeah. And I want to look amazing. Yeah. But I don't want to, but I don't need to compete. Girl, the judges do not want to see me anymore out there. Here comes Karina again. No, I love watching it though. I just think it's unbelievable. I'm so happy that actually Francie Matos, Frenchie won, because that's a total Brazilian coach. I mean, America, I'm sorry, but we're not there yet, okay? The first wellness had to be completely Brazilian, everything. Yeah. And I'm so glad the judges made the right decision.
Yeah. She did. She looked incredible, and it's probably my favorite now too. I can appreciate I love the posing routine and the beauty of women's physique. And it just takes a lot more to get to where they are now, you know. So even people ask me if I'm going to compete again. It's like my women's physique is like when I competed in 2014 is very different than it is now. It's just not, there's no way. There's no way. And I'm 45, so I'm done too.
Yeah, no, yeah. And it's a lot of anxiety, and I'm
Yeah.
at peace. I'm at peace with my body, with my mind. My kids now, before they were like, you can feel again. Oh, you're always on social media. Oh, it was a very thing. They're like, my son is now going, why did you delete your social media? I'm like, you guys forgot so quick, right? Because now life is so different. Mom is home all the time, and I'm just, but I'm here. I'm in the moment.
Present.
I'm present, and that's all I ever wanted, is to be a good mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And you're doing it. You have changed your life. You changed your path. So cool.
It took a lot of work, and it's and someone says, oh, you blame bodybuilding. I said, for your addiction. I said, I don't blame bodybuilding for anything. I said the ups and downs of bodybuilding has actually helped me get to the place of change.
Yeah.
Because you get sad when you lose and put all into it, and 5 minutes before you go into the stage, you see your body change, cortisol. Well, you know what? Something is wrong. It's not. It's more emotional, right? So,
Yeah.
And it was just time. Like, I know this one thing is that if God doesn't want me to do it, He'll shut the door.
Yeah.
And I see them. People that I used to hang out with, and then next thing you know, something happens to them, or people that I used to be friends with and didn't think that I could get away from because I love them so much. And then I do, because I'm locked out by the spirit, right? By my spiritual guides, or, it comes in different form. We don't actually, you know what I mean? And so I always jump to that opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, change. I got to do it. Okay, got to go. And that's when.
Well, I was going to say, this is why, like, I know I personally don't get super upset when things don't go my way or happen, because when you understand that things happen how they're supposed to happen, and you have to learn to adjust to them in order to keep moving forward. This is how, if all you had to do was walk a straight path, you wouldn't learn anything. You wouldn't grow or become better.
So they're boring too. I'm a little bit curious, George. Oh my God, no way. So that's why I see my kids and I'm like, guys, you could just make good decisions, be careful, call mommy, don't drink and drive, that I know what I used to do behind the backs of my parents. So I say to them, I want you to trust that I am here. Okay, we don't drink and drive. We don't put ourselves in situations. But if you are in a situation, call mommy, call daddy, come home. I got you. Okay, so that we're not going to live in this fear-based life. We're going to just, like, kids are going to be kids. They're growing, they're experiencing, they're doing these things. There are certain things you do not do. These drugs we're not doing. But, I know that they're going to experience some things. And so they already know what type of person I am. Will be heading to change.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's super important to even have that type of conversation. I just, times have changed, and I love that, having that open communication with your kids about, I mean, they need to have a healthy fear of you, but also to know that there's no shame, in their mistakes, and that you can, I told my daughter too, I would drive across the country to save you from something if you needed me to get you out of a situation or whatever.
My daughter's just 3 of her friends, and then they're going to pick up 2 more. My husband is let her drive the big SUV, and he took her Jeep to the airport to go to New York. And her first trip, I said, God is going to be with her. She's a great driver, and they're going to have Tallahassee, the college, for Halloween.
Nice.
And
Nice.
has a big game today, and life is full.
Yeah. Do you think is that the hardest part for you? Was that Anna's 16 and she just got her driver's license, is just driving on her own now. It's so weird. It's so weird to not be taking her everywhere. Was that difficult for you to let your kids go and just like let them drive? And nope.
No, remember they've been to boarding school. I sent them to boarding school. I'm okay with them driving around Boca. No, I you know what? It's part of my this thing that I have. It's just like, I don't know. I know I'm guided.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Amazing.
That's why I don't go to parties. I don't go to places. I don't go to places. I went to the Olympia and I went home to my room when my husband went to dinner. There's no after this, no after that. I don't pick up new habits. I know what I want. I know what I don't like anymore. I know how I want my friends. We have tons of friends. I guess I could do dinner and lunch every day, but I like being at home, and that's where I worked so hard for.
That piece. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
So great.
Thank you.
So are you still training pretty regularly, or what does that look like?
Oh yeah, I trained so hard. Oh my God. I was just doing bands the other day, and I'm thinking, so the great thing that couple of things I wanted to also let the women know is that I didn't know this, and when I found this out, it was amazing. That how we get this all of a sudden your jaws, or like this thing, from training, from eating, and this muscle right here.
Yeah.
You can Botox that, and your face will be back to right normal. That's it's amazing. And
Really?
so these beautiful women, and I'm thinking, if you can just have your doctor fix that,
Yeah.
it goes away. It changed people's life. I know one of the girls, my gym, beautiful girl, trains, beautiful body. I said, no, this is not what, it's like, I'm just wanted to tell you that can be fixed. And she's like, oh no, because it's been like that for us. It can be fixed.
You mean like the tension, or
right here, like this? You know how the jaw starts to get square, and then there's that 2 balls right here. You will see. Pay attention to there's some of the women. They're so beautiful. Like that doesn't belong there. All they have to do is go to a dermatologist. They both, and your jaw goes back to normal.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, look into it. Even that you know, the celebrity Frickle, Bethany Frickle. She's one of the housewife. She had that big time. And now she has not. It's because of that. So that's one of the things. So when you can get on stage, you're like, your face is just like, oh, nice and cute. And, you know, some of the girls too, like I used to go and get fillers because I get so lean. I used to hate it.
Yeah.
So the fillers before, you know, competition, you know, that's like very important.
Yeah, to keep your
more feminine, mix it more feminine, more, you know. And so now I do train. I actually reach out to this girl that she won my show when I had that show, the Karina Nascimento Classic. And she lives in Brazil, and she was like the OG wellness, you know, when it began. And then she went to figure because to compete in the United States. And I've been working with her, like, you know, just like, I was like, I want my glutes bigger, da da da. And I've been so lean and shredded all my life. And I'm like, I actually believe that those are not implants, that you can actually develop them. It is the hardest thing I have ever done in my whole life. It's like recreating my body.
Yeah.
My back hurt, my glutes is on fire all the time. And now I start working out glutes and hams, and my ass get this big. I'm thinking, oh my, this is amazing.
So,
yeah.
So what is like,
it's
what is
a real thing.
What does a workout kind of look like?
So usually from this workouts that I've been doing, I don't know, it's long, right? So we do a lot of sumo squats, right? The sumo, the really wide, you know, and then the hip thrust, right? But the hip thrust is, I think it's been one of the hardest thing for me, but then it has been the most effective for developing the upper glute, right? To make that bubble. And just a lot of repetitions, you know, 4 to 6 sets.
Okay.
You know, it's like I you know, I want to do 3 and go home, right? We always wanted to go 3 sets, you know, I'm used to all that.
Yeah.
Well, this is not like that, you know. So I only train upper body twice a week. Mm-hmm. And I have not done biceps in over a year.
Yeah.
Just shoulders, back, and I don't train chest. So it's just shoulders, back, and triceps, adding triceps now.
Yeah.
And then, so Monday, I'll do all these, and they're about the same, you know, sumo squats, wide leg, leg press, mm-hmm. You know, it's all about, you know, body and mind connection through the breathing, right? So there's nothing like to push with the breath is a lot more effective than just, mm-hmm. Right? Because that's going to bring the oxygen, is going to really bring that muscle connection, you know, it's like amazing.
Yep.
And so it's a lot more repetitions, doing the same things, but in different angles. And the main thing is how you position your feet, right? Because now we done a lot of squats wide, but we done here and we done here, but now we're doing here, right? We're opening up this so that so it starts to work the glutes, and it's such a huge change. It's it's beautiful actually seeing, watching the transformation.
Yeah. I
The
think
fullness.
so. There's a couple of things that you said I think is important for training. I think doing more sets is probably better because the more you repeat, you know, a set and a movement, the more you are going to connect with everything you're supposed to be connect. So you're like really, it's like throwing a ball. If you throw a ball one time, you might not hit your target, but you throw, you practice, and you do it 10 times. Now, by the 10th time, you're all warmed up, you got this going. So I do think doing, you know, properly warming up and doing more sets is probably more effective than doing 10 different exercises and only doing 2 sets of, you know, each one.
Oh yeah, like we start, say, if I'm doing kickbacks, right? So I'm doing kickbacks. I will start with 20 reps of 20. Every exercise that I done, hip thrust, I start with 20 first, and then 10 sets of 10.
Yeah. Oh, ow, ow.
Okay. Then 10 sets of 10. And then the next exercise, I'm sure that on that leg day, I'll do at least 8 different exercises, which the reps are, I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
I'm going to send it to you.
Okay. And then I'm going to.
You already have a great ass. So then that day is going to be like, what are we going to do with that?
Oh my word.
Oh my God. My husband is like, you're the only person that I have said, wow, you got a big ass. And you feel good about it.
If I can create that, then I'll step on stage for wellness.
I'm going to send you that workout.
Okay.
And
awesome.
the food is different too. Like, you know, at first she sent me my food and I was like, I want to go through this eating a lot. And I ate a lot for a little bit. And now we're, you know, I'm starting back on Monday. I'm going to start back on that, on her program. Yeah. And it's just for me. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. You know, it's insane because when you do the hip thrust, then now my abs, which it used to be in, now it's pronounced out. Yeah. So it's like, unbelievable.
Well, and you train, I think what people don't understand too, you know, this trend of working, you know, getting bigger glutes. I mean, people kind of make fun of it because like, you know, oh, well, everybody just wants a big ass. But the thing is, it also helps with the way that your body functions, like hip thrust, because everybody's always sitting, leaning forward, and our glutes get weak from sitting on them in that posture.
I mean, I'm like, I have to sit in my hamstrings now.
Yeah.
Like I used to sit like this, right? Now I'm like, if I don't sit on my hamstrings and my ass are like this, I'm not comfortable.
It's so funny. But I think anybody can benefit from, anybody can benefit from the hip thrust, not just for hypertrophy, not just for growing glutes, but for strengthening them. And it's going to help with your posture and, you know, low back problems and shoulders and everything else. So.
Mm-hmm. And it's also like the breathing on the abs. Now, she goes, you know, there's this band that goes around. Now I feel it. Like I can breathe. My abs has actually I always have this straight up and down, and I'm getting more, you know,
yeah,
without having to wear those corsets and stuff. And I mean, that really affected my, you know, my, what do you call those, first ribs, right? Because it's squeezing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then your traps get tight because you're first.
Yes, I had like these real pronouns. Now look at them; they're like, calm down. It's like, girl, no, I love it. Yeah, it's the best thing that ever happened, and I think Jamanian really likes this category. You know, he's usually really into the bikini girls and figures, a little bit,
Yeah.
most bikini, but he's actually taken very much interested in the wellness and I'm glad for the girls because we didn't get that with women's physique. They
Yeah.
didn't even look at us.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't look at me, but it's okay.
They're looking now.
Yeah. It's funny. But I love NPC, IFBB.
Yeah.
We all try to do the best we can. It's we all living in this world where, if we don't work on ourselves, it's not gonna work out. Well, as you can see, a lot of suicide, a lot of different things, a lot of people chasing empty dreams. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you got to be able to listen, I guess, to hear there's a time for everything, and sometimes it's just time to hang it up.
Yeah. Well, it's time to start feeling what you're feeling. I think people chase stuff to not feel what they're feeling so they can feel something better. And you have to feel those things that hurt you so that you can heal them, I think.
And I have so much more money.
It's true too. Again, with the good decision making and taking care of,
I
opportunities.
have so much more money. I'm like, my husband's like, I'll pay you not to compete.
Oh, yeah, because of, I see what you're saying, because you're not
Just because it's so
money.
much, on us,
Yes.
it's so much. It's like, how much is it for you to compete? About what, $10,000? Yeah, it's a lot, and then everybody's trying to, get sponsors. We used to own a sports nutrition distribution. So, and supplements for me is free. We still own Purist Lab.
Yeah.
Lab is our company.
Yeah.
Protein is great. I mean, I drink it every single day. I don't post it all the time about it, but it's up on my, link. And we also partners with VMI Sports. That's another company. We just sold our manufacturing company in Texas. And so little by little, we are like, we're completely retired.
Nice. Well, I wanted to ask you, so did you buy the place where you lived, or what is that going on, the children's home in Texas?
So the children's home in Texas is a place that is, it's called Christ Haven for Children.
Okay.
Okay. And they are set up like it was a big farm maybe, and then they have horses, they have a gym, they have a office, and then they have houses.
Yeah.
Okay, like these little houses, nice houses, and then one side is boys, the other side is girls, and then they actually have a family there that Judy and Ron was my mom and dad there, and they have their own family. And from there, they already just started to have houses for women, for young women that are pregnant. So they can have a job, stability, they can go to college, and they can take care of the baby if that's in their journey, that's what you want. And then we have like from babies, we out in my house at the time, there was about 10 kids.
Wow.
We had 10 children there, and anytime everybody was leaving and coming, there's probably about 10 houses.
Okay.
And it's full all the time of kids.
Wow.
And then so like in Christmas, you get to make like a wish list, in different companies would give us gift, like the big company, a big housing development called Trophy Club in that area. Everybody's rich, so we send our Christmas list, And also like restaurants during Christmas, like Spaghetti Warehouse, we get to go to Spaghetti Warehouse, you know, the whole group get to go and enjoy ourselves. So my friends in Texas, they own what called De Lucas. It's a Brazilian pizzeria. It's amazing. It's beautiful. They're gonna start opening up everywhere. Before that, they used to work with Texas de Brazil. So because I asked them one time to do it. Now they do it all the time. They take pizza there. They used to have for Christmas, that. Now they do pizza, but then they used to bring meats and rice and beans and do a whole thing. It's amazing. So DeLuca in Texas, DeLuca was amazing then. So I'm having these people calling me about a house that I have to find in it for the celebrity that's coming in next week. So for my daughter, it's going to be amazing.
It's exciting. It's exciting. Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, you're just living your best life. I just love this. I love all the healing that happened. I love everything that you accomplished and you still are, and you're giving back, and it's just incredible. So thank you.
I'm always, I know where I came from. I'm always like, recently, not because, I see this guy every day. And the other day I pull up and, my Rolls Royce, and I stop the window and I give him $50, and he reached inside, and I give him $50, and he goes, "Thank you." And I felt it.
Yeah.
And I felt it like, that sometimes I do that, or I do a lot of different little things that I feel just so that they know that there is an opportunity. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because if you want it bad enough, you can have it. Yeah. You can have it. I know I was there.
I think some people need somebody to believe in them, and that's what you're providing. Is not just something fiscal, but some hope,
Yeah.
To make
it's only when you're when you guided to do that, it feels good. Nah? So incredible. Beautiful thing, my love.
Incredible.
Thank you for having me. You're going to be able to put all this together.
Absolutely. I might do part 1 and part 2, which is fine, because I think we're at like about 2 hours. So, I mean,
wow.
Whatever. It'll be good.
We just talk. But in the end of the day, bodybuilding got me where I am. If it wasn't for me finding this way of life, of structure and discipline, determination, knowing, like, when the first show that I did, knowing that I achieved that, and that's a personal thing, right? Because bodybuilding, he can only give you the direction. If you don't do it, if you're not capable of finish, no matter what, even at 2015, when I just had a real nervous breakdown on stage, I was like, I couldn't, it was just not, I should not compete. I was not mentally, I wasn't, Keon the Prodigy, he did not compete at the Olympia because of mental health, right? I thought it was so brave of him. And I dare some guy said, "Oh, do you know what a privilege it is to compete in the Olympia? In the old days, nobody would do that." Well, yeah, and then they suffer, right? So do what it is take your time, find the people that are on your side, that takes care of you. If the protocol don't look right, ask an opinion, ask opinion. You must trust, right, the person, and then go with your gut. You know, I wanted to win so bad, I would do anything. So that was my story, though. You know, I would do anything. I trusted my coach, and I wanted to win because this is my only way out. And I did some things that probably shouldn't be alive, right? Because I was, you know, I didn't know what I was doing, right? So and so glad that I have made it, but that was a personal decision.
Yeah.
I wanted it bad.
Yeah.
You know, pro golfers do the same thing.
Right.
It happens, you know, pro golfers, you know, basketball players, you know, and stuff, you know. That's why they're limited in what they can take.
Yeah.
You know, as they compete in these other professionals and professionals, sports, whatever. But you know, you just have to, if that's what you want, you know, you gotta make the decision, follow through, and let's go.
Well, and I think now where you are now with this calm and this peace and being more rational about your decision making, you know, it's just you know, you're not going to take these types of risks anymore. You aren't going to do whatever it takes, and you're going to see the flags of, like you said, God shuts a door when something isn't for you anymore. And, you know, I think sometimes when we're in, I'll do whatever it takes, we kind of ignore those signs, and then it causes problems for us too. So
it does. It does. And but that is our learning experience. This is our life. I'm telling you, not just because of that, I'm just lucky to be alive, period.
yeah, absolutely.
Lucky, really, really blessed.
Yeah. And we're so blessed to, I just feel blessed to have heard your story today, because I'm just always astounded at what women are capable of overcoming. And, you know, you walk through the fire. You walked through the fire.
You said it. I was talking to a spiritual healer, and she says, I see you walking through the burning bushes. Yeah. She goes, you know, another one that I worked with, she says, you gotta let go of the survivor mode.
Yes.
Like you're in the flight. Yeah. There's not even like, you know, you're there. And I was like, yeah. And, you know, finally, after, you know, started to do my work, I started to realize that, yeah, you know, everything I ever wanted, I got it. No, I'm not Miss Olympia, but I was in the Miss Olympia stage, and that's not like, you know, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
What I love right now is that I'm a good wife and a good mom.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most important. And if I can pave the way for my children to be the Mr. and Miss Olympia of their world.
Yes.
That's what I'm gonna work for.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to think about the legacy that you want to leave behind, and it's for the people that are most important to you, you know?
Yes. And you look beautiful, by the way. Okay. Keep doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Thank
do
you for doing that. Thank you for doing this too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felt good.
If where can people find you if they, you know, when they want to occasionally see you on social media? Is it Instagram mostly?
Yeah, it's only Instagram now.
Okay. What's your Instagram handle?
It's Karina Nascimento, Nascimento 615.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll narrow it down to that just because I like, I wanted to, and it's a place where I don't want to feel like the pressure. I said, the pressure for me is like, there's no pressure, guys. Just getting up in the morning and being grateful and staying in grateful attitude every single day. And that's, for me, that's winning.
Yeah.
To be able to go into the gym, change my body the way I want, eating the way that I want and healthy and really changing my physique. It's like an art to me. That's motivating, and if you like that, you can follow me, but I'm not going to be like jumping off buildings for you. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to act like an idiot anymore on social media so that you can like and be interested. I work in the gym. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I clean my house. I do my laundry. I get shit done every day. My house is immaculate, and that's how I live. If you like that, if you want to be motivated by that, fine, but I'm not going to be jumping off the bridge. You know what I mean? It's just like life. I just do life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. I think that's how it should be. So many people are working so hard to impress other people. And like you said, live a dream that's not their dream. So I think when it comes down to it, a lot of us really would like to just be content with the simple things: family, gym. We love going to the gym, job, husband, maybe work. That's 5 things. That's enough for me.
I worked so much all my life. I've been, cleaning the houses and being maids for people at the age of 7 in Brazil. I had to leave my house. My mom sent me to go be a live-in maid for this woman, and I got molested every night by the husband. And I was only 7 years old. So as my children age, and each age, I was reliving as I could. No, nobody will ever do this. No, nobody will ever do this. And from an very early age, my husband used to be, I said, nobody ever touches you this way. You don't ever think that they're gonna kill me, because I will. No, they can say nothing to you. Look at mommy.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna do nothing to me. You be sure to tell me anything.
Yeah.
We got you.
Yeah.
From early age. It's like, no, I'll never leave my kids to go off by themselves when they're 7. I had 6 years old. I was selling mangoes in the streets of Brazil, and I used to be so ashamed of this. So when we bought this house here in Florida, real quick, my husband, when he heard my story back in the time, I was still in a lot of pain, right? I still bodybuilding, right? The Band-Aid was there, but I would talk about it, not cry. And my husband said to me before we were just dating, he goes, well, it was my birthday in November. I'm thinking I'm gonna get something, big. He comes over to my house, pick me up, take me to dinner. Yeah. And he brings me a basket in Texas with 3 mangoes. He goes, your story inspired me. So we have 3 children this week. And then when we bought this house, so fast forward 10 years later, after marriage stuff, we bought this house. And then my husband and my children surprised me with a mango tree. The first year, this is just like mangoes, and I couldn't believe it.
Amazing.
Yeah. We'll end with that.
Full circle moment. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Hey, thanks everybody for watching and listening to another episode of the Women's Maximum Fitness Podcast. You can find Karina on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at buffcake22. You can follow the podcast at Women's Maximum Fitness on YouTube also, and anywhere that you listen to podcasts. So, and to remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Have a great day. Thank you.
Ciao.